I first heard about Woolly Mammoth Theatre Company in 2014. I was spending a semester in New York as a senior in college, and there was a play at Playwright's Horizons called Booty Candy, and it had originated at Woolly Mammoth. And I loved Booty Candy, and I was obsessed with it. So I thought, oh my gosh, any theater that would premiere a work this bold, this edgy, this sexy, this funny is a theater that I want to work at. And fast forward a few years later, I had done Hi, Are You Single in the Under the Radar Festival at the Public Theater, which was at the time had its lead producer, Maria Manuela Goyanes, who is now the artistic director of Woolly Mammoth. And she fell in love with Hi, Are You Single when she saw it in Under the Radar and said, I want to do everything I can to help you get this show up and get it seen by more people. Then she took over Woolly Mammoth and suddenly was in a position to make the choices and put the shows on the stages and decide who got to see what and when. And she told me from the beginning, I'm really interested in Hi, Are You Single. I don't know what form it's going to take, but I want to bring it to DC. So the first attempt was going to be summer of 2020. We were going to do it in a summer festival in their smaller studio-like space. And then that obviously was canceled because everything was shut down. And then they bumped us up from a summer festival because the summer was gone. They brought us into their main season on their main stage, which was going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. But it was going to be a smaller capacity audience. And then, I don't think we could actually have a live audience. Why don't we do it on film instead and give an offering to the people during this time of theater absence and scarcity and void, really. And then IAMA Theatre Company in Los Angeles was very interested in partnering because they had wanted me to film a solo work, and I didn't know what that would look like. And I certainly didn't want to do it from my parents' house where I was staying at the time during COVID. And so I got those two theaters together, and that's how we got to the place where we are now for this theater on film moment that's going to run for the month of February 2021. I adore Woolly Mammoth Theater in DC and IAMA Theater in Los Angeles. They've both been champions of me since well before we were doing this production. Their staffs have been champions of me, and they've supported me in my work from afar and sometimes directly. IAMA gave me the Unsung Voices Playwriting Commission in early 2020, and I'm so grateful for that. And Woolly has been, and Maria Goyanes at Woolly have been championing Hi, Are You Single and waiting for the day they could put it on their stage. And it's the first time in my career as a playwright that any of my plays is being fully produced with a full design team, a full costume, scenic, lighting, sound design with, when I say costume, I mean this is the first time I'm wearing clothes that didn't have to come out of my own closet to do this play. And they see the importance of disabled stories. They see the importance of gay and queer stories. They see the importance of intersectionality. They are highlighting people of color in their seasons, and they are recognizing that the diversity of voices on stage is going to directly impact the audiences who are watching the theater and the people who come into the theater in the first place because they finally have the opportunity to see themselves. There are two amazing regional theaters in two beautiful, wonderful cities, Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles. These are two extraordinary, wonderful, non-profit theaters. And every nonprofit theater in the country is struggling in this time when their audiences have been ripped away, their ticket sales and their revenue that were budgeted for ripped away, and very little help coming from the federal government. Just now we're starting to see, thanks to Senator Chuck Schumer and others and the Save Our Stages Act, there's more that needs to be done. We were long abandoned during this pandemic because of a lack of leadership in our government. And We need help. The theater needs help. IAMA and Woolley surely need help to rebuild and regain and come back stronger than before. And so if you have the means to, support your local theaters in any way possible, whether it's buying a ticket to whatever they're offering via streaming, or giving a tax deductible donation to one of the nonprofits in your local community, or just making sure that when it comes back, you are there to buy the tickets and walk in the door and sit in those seats, because actors need it, technicians need it, directors, creatives, staff members, administrators, all forms of folks need our support. And theater is much more than the one person on the stage or the cast of actors on the stage. There are hundreds of people that go into a production. And one of the joys of having this be my first production, even if it was a time of pandemic and we were doing a lot of it on Zoom and a lot of it remotely, there were 40 staff members, maybe even 50 or more, that were involved between both theaters in getting this show off the ground, whose jobs were to support me and my work, and they were getting the chance to work for the first time in 8-9 months. And that was a great gift, to not only have such talented people supporting me and my story, but knowing that this work was giving them the chance to do what they love and do what they do best, and to be compensated for it, because that is so severely lacking in this pandemic time.